55% of Americans are now using AI to manage their finances. That stat is real. In 2 weeks ago, ChatGPT Personal Finance went from a conversation to a connection. Connect bank account. Read your real transactions. See where your money actually goes. I connected mine, and what it told me about my own money was genuinely uncomfortable to look at. This is the direct follow-up to the ChatGPT finance experiment I ran last month. If you saw that video, you know the setup. 5 money questions, 4 right answers, 1 hallucination that almost cost $5,000. What you don't know is what happened the week I published it. OpenAI launched a personal finance experience in ChatGPT, powered by ChatGPT Plaid integration, connecting to over 12,000 financial institutions. I'm talking Chase, Fidelity, Robinhood, Capital One. Honest review, real data. That's what this video is. No affiliate deal, no press kit. I paid for my own pro subscription and connected my own accounts. In the next 12 minutes, I'll show you exactly what the feature does, what AI financial advice looks like when it's connected to your real spending, what it got right, what it missed, and the one thing it found that no budgeting app has ever caught in 3 years of using them.
Let me tell you what the feature actually is before I tell you what happened when I used it, because the press coverage was mostly technical and mostly confused. Open your ChatGPT Pro app. Look for the Finances section in the sidebar. Click Get Started. You'll be routed through Plaid, the same company that already connects your accounts for Venmo and Robinhood. If you've used either of those, you've already trusted Plaid with this data. ChatGPT is adding a reasoning layer on top of a connection you've already made. Once connected, you get a dashboard. Portfolio performance, spending by category, subscriptions, upcoming payments, and then you can ask it anything. Have I been spending more recently? Where can I save $200 a month? How long until I can afford a house in my area? It answers using your real data, not generic advice. The engine is GPT 5.5 thinking. This is not the ChatGPT that hallucinated on my student loan question last month. GPT 5.5 was specifically benchmarked against a set of personal finance questions before release. OpenAI says it's measurably more accurate on context-dependent financial reasoning than the GPT-4o I was using in April.
4 things it cannot do. It cannot move your money. It cannot make trades. It cannot pay a bill. It cannot see your full account number, only transaction data and balances. Everything is read-only. If someone hacks into your ChatGPT account, they can see your spending history. They cannot touch your actual money. Which brings me to the question I know you're actually asking. Should you connect your real bank account to ChatGPT? That depends on something most creators won't say clearly. Here is what you're actually trusting when you connect. 1. You trust Plaid with read access to your accounts. You have probably already made this decision. 2. You trust OpenAI to store a categorized summary of your transactions according to their privacy policy. 3. You trust that OpenAI's security infrastructure won't be breached. The honest version. This is not riskier than using Mint, Copilot, or YNAB with a bank connection. Those apps all run on Plaid. The difference is that ChatGPT now has conversational context. It can combine your transaction history with the things you tell it about your life. That's the capability upgrade. That's also the thing that deserves your eyes open. My decision. I connected one account. My primary checking. No investment accounts. No credit cards. That's the minimum data footprint to get real spending analysis. If I were more cautious, I'd use a secondary account. If you're uncomfortable with any of this, the answer is, don't connect yet. The feature will improve. The window to connect is not closing. I'm not here to sell you the feature. I'm here to tell you what happened when I tested it. So let's get into the actual results. Setup. I connected 1 month of transaction data from my primary checking account. Then I gave ChatGPT 3 things: the data, my monthly income, and my savings goal. I asked it exactly the same 5 questions I used in last month's experiment, so I had a direct before and after comparison. Prompts, data, categories, all matched. The control condition. In April, I asked those questions with 0 account data, just prompts and my manually typed income. In June, same questions, but ChatGPT could see the actual transactions. The difference in answer quality is the story of this video, what it got right. Question 1. Credit card versus 401k. Same question as last month. Same correct answer. Capture the employer match first, then pay down the card. But this time, it added something. It knew from my transaction data that I had been paying the minimum on a card for 4 months. It flagged it.
One last thing. If you decide to connect, start with one account. Not your investment portfolio, not your credit cards, just your primary checking. 1 month of data. See what it finds. If it catches something your budgeting app missed, like my $62, you'll understand immediately why people are paying for this. If it doesn't find anything new, you haven't given up much. Disconnect at any time from the Finances settings panel. ChatGPT makes it genuinely easy to remove. The full prompt library from last month's video, the 12 prompts, including the 4 anchor structure I just showed working again, is still in the description. Free, no paywall. And I've added 2 new prompts specifically for the connected account use case. One for spending pattern analysis, one for surfacing hidden categories. Those are new this month. If you want a notification when the next experiment goes up, I'm testing the Intuit integration when it drops, which should include tax impact analysis. Subscribe. That video is going to be the most useful thing this channel has published. I'll link it here when it's live. That's Monty's promise. See you next video.
It said, and I'm paraphrasing, that at my current payment trajectory, it would take 19 months to clear the balance at a net interest cost of roughly $340. That is the difference. Generic ChatGPT gives you the right framework. Connected ChatGPT gives you the right framework applied to your actual money. That $340 was not a hypothetical. It was my $340. The emotional impact of a number that is actually yours is the product's real value proposition. Question 3 was the one that hallucinated last month. Student loan interest deduction, the tax math. This time, I gave it my income bracket, my loan balance, and my transaction history showing the actual monthly payments. GPT 5.5 got the after-tax math right. It correctly identified that my effective loan rate after the deduction was closer to 4.5%, not 6%. It recommended a hybrid approach, continue minimum payments, redirect the margin to the 401k match. Correct. Question 4 was the freelance budget. Same correct framework as last month, profit first allocation. But this time, it could see the variance in my income month over month. It set the buffer recommendation not at 10% flat, but at the actual average variance from my last 4 deposits. That is a meaningfully smarter recommendation than anything I've gotten from a static budgeting app. Now here's where it went wrong. And I want to be fair. It got 4 out of 5 again, same score as last month, but the miss this time was more interesting. Question 5 was the Roth versus traditional IRA question. Last month, it got this right on the contribution limits. This month, with my real income connected, it recommended a Roth IRA without flagging that my income is in a phase-out range for Roth direct contributions in 2026. I'm close enough to the threshold that this matters. A partial backdoor Roth would have been the more precise answer. I checked the IRS tables. I am in the phase-out range. ChatGPT had my income data. It was in the connected transactions. It did not catch the implication. That is a real miss. Not a hallucination this time, just an incomplete answer on a case where my specific number changes the strategy. The 4 anchor prompt fix. I ran the question again, this time explicitly giving it my MAGI, telling it I was aware of the phase-out range and asking it to account for backdoor Roth eligibility. It corrected immediately and gave a full backdoor Roth walkthrough. The underlying knowledge was there. The model just did not apply it without the constraint. This is exactly what last month's 4 anchor prompt structure was designed for, and it still works.
Now, here's the thing that genuinely surprised me. The one thing no budgeting app had ever caught in 3 years of use. I asked a simple question. Have I been spending more recently than 6 months ago? It pulled the transaction categories, compared the 2 periods, and came back with an answer I was not expecting. Not food, not subscriptions. My recurring software tool payments, tools I had signed up for during a productivity experiment last fall, had added up to $62 a month in background charges I had stopped noticing. This is what the subscription audit video I published in May was about, but I missed these because they were categorized as software and not subscriptions in my bank's own interface. This is what connected AI does that prompts alone cannot. You cannot ask where is the money going without giving it the data. A budgeting app could have caught this, but budgeting apps do not tell you unless you think to ask. ChatGPT services the pattern because it's reasoning about your money as a narrative, not as a spreadsheet. Verdict. I'll give you the updated trust and don't trust list, adjusted from last month. Trust it for spending pattern analysis when connected to real data. That is genuinely better than anything else available. Trust it for surfacing categories and charges you have stopped noticing. Trust it for running the math on your specific situation when you give it your specific numbers using the 4 anchor prompt method. Don't trust it for income threshold edge cases without explicitly providing your actual MAGI. Don't trust it for questions where the answer changes based on laws that may have updated since its training. Always cross-reference those against IRS publications. And do not trust any answer on a complex question where it doesn't voluntarily tell you what it's uncertain about. The bottom line, ChatGPT as a ChatGPT financial advisor tool went from a 75 out of 100 experiment to a more useful, more specific product when connected to real data. It did not become a financial advisor. It became a better informed research assistant. That is a meaningful upgrade. Use it accordingly.